for reasons, children of a single mother spend the summer by themselves after their babysitter dies. Are they able to survive, not kill each other, kind of like the babysitter, and make it through the summer without mom finding out? All this can only mean one thing. We watch Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead on this episode of Retro vs. Remake.
I'm right on top of that, Rose! Retro vs. Remake!
Right on top of that.
Welcome to Retro vs. Remake, where we discuss cinematic achievements in art and
culture,
and arts and culture, and their counterparts that have been remade. I'm one of your hosts, Dan Farley. You can find me at DanFarley18 on Instagram, or on X, you can find me at JerseyDan18. With me, as always, is my hetero life mate, Reggie Parker. You can find him at RP Comedy on the X, formerly known as Twitter, and on Instagram at the same. Thank you. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. You can find us on Retro vs. Remake on YouTube, on Instagram, on Spotify, iTunes. We're on the fucking cloud, son.
Damn right.
Yeah, what's going on? Today, we are discussing the cinematic achievement that is Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead.
Which one?
It doesn't matter. They're both on a different level, let's say. Not going to say which one I'm going to recommend, but regardless. So, I don't know how we're going to... How can we delve deep into this? Let's start with, when was your first exposure to this movie?
So, the original Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead came out in 1991.
Yes.
I was a kid. I grew up in the world, and it was a pretty popular movie, you know. I just saw it when I was younger. Didn't really remember much because I've only watched it like maybe once or twice before.
Yeah.
So this was almost like a fresh rewatch for me. When you told me about this remake, I was like, all right, cool. It's like, so I Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead with an all-black cast. Like, I never heard of this, Dan. Like,
yeah.
Where'd you see this commercial?
Oh, I saw the commercial on, I saw it on my Prime Video, whatever, because I have a Fire Stick.
That's right.
So when I turned it on, all of a sudden it said, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. And I was like, Retro vs. Remake! Because
so
I have been exposed to, I was just looking it up now because I meant to do it before, and then for this exact moment, and I completely forgot.
Okay.
I was trying to look up what VHS tape had the trailer for Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead on it, but I remember seeing that, and then it literally, it was before I saw the actual movie, because this is one of those movies that was on HBO, like, all the time. So I saw this so many fucking times. I would say legitimately different parts of it, watching all the way through 50 times
I
at least.
Agree. I'm the type of guy like unless it's a movie I really like have like I don't know, just have in my head like I hate starting a movie in that like middle shit, like when you're watching TV and like, oh shit, it's halfway through Shawshank. Like I'll watch that. You know? Halfway through Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, I'm like, I miss that.
Yeah, I don't need to know. I know. Although I must say, like, out of all the times I've seen this movie, and I've seen it a lot, I think I've seen the babysitter die in the Christina Applegate version, 1991 one.
Sure.
I've seen the babysitter die maybe 6 times. Like, I've made it. I usually turned it on when the transvestites steal the car. Liza? When they steal the car, I turned it on then, and then I would watch it all the way through from there on. And then I would do whatever I was doing while that was on.
Start.
Yes.
We're going to call that the Dan cut.
The Dan cut, right there. It's just like, hey, these kids, ooh, what are they doing?
Well, the babysitter, for like how much it's in the title, in both movies, it's kind of blink and you miss it.
Yes.
Which I like, by the way. I like that we don't spend a lot of time with this babysitter.
It's like one of those, it's the whole, I would make the argument that these movies are two completely different movies.
Completely different
movies. Put together. Like, it's, they were taking the concept of working girl.
Right.
And they're like, what if she was 17? And that's the movie that they're making. And then they were like, but we have this other movie where these kids are, basically it's Home Alone with a teenage adults, but it's for an entire summer. It's not just like 4 days. And how do we do that? Hey, what if we make these two movies together into one movie? Like she has to get a job to survive. And that's what I think actually happened. I think there were two movies that you combined into one.
I'd like look it up as like they were totally riding the Honey I Shrunk the Kids wave.
Yes.
You know, which was 1989. I was like, all right, let me check because this feels like, hey man, let's get into this action.
Yes.
But yeah, no, completely two different films, and
like in the same movie.
I agree.
Two completely different movies.
In a way that
in both the original and the remake, might I add, it's two completely different movies.
Boy, it's too early to say this. This is, I mean, not to spoil like how I feel about the film, but like this film is shot more confidently than House Party.
Oh, absolutely. Like, not even a question.
Like
ladies and gentlemen of the jury, no, I have no comment. I have no objection. That was perfect. Yes, absolutely. Much more confidently.
It's like, so, like if I was the guy trying to like pitch this film, it's like, all right, like when you look at Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, the way it's being described is a 1991 American coming-of-age black comedy film. Right? So then, like, you take black comedy, and it's like, black comedy, and you can, yes and.
Yes and. But is it?
No.
It's very universal. Like, it's not very... The only thing that I would say, really, in the remake, and, I mean, we could get into... This is just my first impression of the remake, and when I saw the trailer, I was like, I don't know, when the lady from Nebraska, who was nominated for an Oscar not that long ago, I can't remember her name, who plays the babysitter in the 2024. She, you know, is ruling with an iron fist, like they both do.
Sure.
It's beat for beat. There's a lot of the same things in these movies, but she's ruling with an iron fist. But the fact that the family's black brings a whole nother element to of her doing this. That she's a white older lady who might have been alive during the Civil War. Like, it adds a whole nother twist to it. It's like, not only is she like in the original, it's like, this woman fucking sucks, but in this one, it's like, and then she starts, her first line is like, I know how to raise you N-words, because she says N-words, by the way, and not the words, but she says N-words. And then, like, does that make you less racist? It's like, there's a whole nother, like, slave master type of thing, especially when she pulls the one kid, like, you're not going anywhere. Like, you're forcefully being detained in this house. No escaping. Like, you're not running away. Underground Railroad, I think not.
It's like when you're out and you see, like, the kids, they usually kind of, like, church it up, like, they'll make it, like a monkey backpack, but it is just, like, a leash for a child.
Yes.
Like, you're right. Tonally, the child leash feels a bit rootsy.
Yeah, a little rootsy. Like, there's a little, like, I'm not going to say that it's not, it doesn't necessarily work, because...
I think it works, actually.
It does. It does. Yeah, I mean, it does, but at the same time, I guess it adds to the fact that you just don't give a shit that she died.
Well, yeah, that I'll give you 100%.
You're like, good, this woman's dead. And I love that she's like a Bible-beating, like, fucking Christian.
Like, the first babysitter in the 1991 film...
She's a bitter fucking woman. Like, she sucks.
You know.
And you have no less love lost with that woman.
Right.
But, and also, that might be played by the same woman. I don't know. I do not know. I did no research.
We'll find out.
No, but the love, like, yes, you don't lose any, like, sleep over her dying. But in this one, it's a little more like, it's so much more over the top. Like, that woman exists. Mm-hmm. That woman in 1991 exists. She's a real person.
Yeah, like this one, the woman who answered your Facebook post about watching your kids while you're away for
which brings me a whole nother level of, wait, are you a good mom? In both movies, by the way. You're like, wait, you just put out a Facebook post that you need someone to house sit and raise your children for 3 months? And in the first one, you're like, where did you come from?
What was her reason the first time?
I don't... I don't remember where she found her from. It doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah, that. But I mean, like...
Oh, she was going to Australia with her boyfriend.
That's right. Yeah, see, yeah. So,
Yeah.
like...
And, like, you didn't plan this out even a little?
I wanted to make sure, because I watched another...
Like, at least in this one, it's got to be fast, because she has a... Okay, so in the 2024, Miss Pat plays the mother.
Yeah.
Of these children. There's 4 children in the 2024, 5 children in the original.
Yeah, I'm not that out for us real quick.
Okay.
The original film was directed by Stephen Herrick. It was written by Neil Landau and Tara Ison. Again, that came out in 1991. That film stars Christina Applegate, Joanna Cassidy, Keith Coogan, John Getz, and Josh Charles. I know we mentioned The Babysitters.
Yes.
And in 1991, Ida Reese Marin.
Ida Reese Marin.
Played-
That's such an old lady name.
And she was very much an old lady. But she played Miss Sturak in 1991.
All right, you little maggots, now line up.
Are you serious?
I'll make your summer a living hell.
And in 2024, you've got, like you said, Nebraska, you got June Squibb,
Yes.
who plays Mrs. Sturak.
I know how to discipline you. I watch Medea movies. No more of this garbage. Where do you think you're going? Get that crap out of your system.
And, like, both completely caricatures, but you're right, with the race component.
Yes, it's a whole nother level. Also, like, she's, in the 2024, like, she's an Oscar-nominated actress. Like, she's a real, legitimate actress.
Yeah,
you
they
know?
don't ask her to do.
They don't ask her to do, but it's also, like, interesting that they get her for that part. You're like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But they get, like, the over-the-top murder, well, not murder, but neglectful, how would you put it? It's definitely, I don't know. What would the crime be?
The crime, I mean, neglect is
Neglect.
a crime, but, like, what's that thing where you're just, like, it's literally just being irresponsible. Like, I forget what.
Reckless endangerment?
Yeah, that one. Reckless endangerment of children.
Yeah.
She tried, kind of. Like,
See, but in the 2024, when they leave her with the babysitter, she has to go immediately. Like, she has a nervous, Miss Pat plays the mother, she has a nervous breakdown at her job because someone gets promoted over her, which is exactly what happens to the daughter later on in the movie. That she's the one who gets promoted. So, by God, karma comes around. But Miss Pat has a nervous breakdown and has to go to save her job to a anger management retreat in Thailand, which is a great, actually much better. Like, it's a much better aspect, especially for this day and age, because it eliminates cell phones.
Yep.
So now she doesn't have immediate contact with her kids to know exactly what's going on in 2024, and she has to leave immediately. So she finds, okay, this woman from this church group is willing to go. She's fucking older than dirt. She's probably not going to rob my kids. She's probably not going to hurt them. I'm sure everything's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, she's also going through a mental health crisis.
Yes.
So,
whatever. Any port in the storm.
Yeah.
And then the other one is, but in the original, you're kind of a terrible mother.
Totally.
There's no mystery why these kids are so fucked up.
These kids are so fucked up.
So fucked up. And you decided to have 5 of them, and you want to go to Australia with your new boyfriend? Guess what? You don't get to go to Australia with your new boyfriend. But I digress, because this movie's phenomenal.
Yeah. I think, like, what's interesting about 2024, which, that one's directed by Wade Allen Marcus, screenplay by Chuck Hayward. Obviously based on the original Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. That one, like you mentioned, stars Simone Joy Jones, Miss Pat, Jermaine Fowler, June Squibb, Nicole Richie. Pretty much stopped there.
I think it's sad. I did not have much hope for this movie when I saw that Nicole Richie was the most notable name in this entire fucking movie.
Yeah.
Then I was like, oh no, please don't make this another Simple Life. And you know what? Thank God I could kind of just write it off as, okay, Nicole Richie.
Yeah.
Because she does not hold a candle up to the rose.
Oh, no.
In Don't Tell, and the original. The original is such a full, complete character.
Completely.
Like, it's a three-dimensional character. You could understand, like, I understand this woman. It's not only is it an empowering role for women in 1991,
For sure.
but it's also a woman that's fully real. Like, she's a sexual being, but not overly sexual.
Right.
And she's not, like, overly sexualized. And then she's also running this company, but she's completely stressed, and she's, like, a very much a human story. But also, like, hey, she's trying to get a piece of the pie. You know, that's what she wants, and she's doing a hell of a job.
She's in control, but also, like, it's a lot.
Yeah,
you know
it's
what I mean?
a lot, and
So-
it's like, it's nothing that she can't handle.
Right.
But sometimes she's like, you know, she's chain smoking. She's like, oh, I gotta smoke this bogey real quick. And then she's like, oh, and she's breaking down, like, eating a bag, or like going out for drinks, and then she's like sleeping with this guy that she's hoping that it's gonna raise more, but you know, her real love is she's an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
She's running this business.
Yeah, she's in love with.
And this business is in a little bit of trouble.
Totally. I mean, you're talking about Joanna Cassidy's Rose Lindsay.
To be coordinating our sales, manufacturing, and advertising people. I'm going to need bi-weekly reports from you. Basically, you're the hub of our communication network. The hub.
Which was, like you mentioned, great.
Yes.
Fucking performance. I mean, like,
Phenomenal.
what you're getting out of Nicole Richie.
And the most important thing, if we're not alone, and I ask you for something, you just say,
And Nicole Richie is like, hi, I'm Nicole Richie. Would you like to buy this shirt? No? Because I'm a cardboard cutout.
She might be the worst actress in the film.
Absolutely. It's not even a question.
You know? Like, and that's including all the kids. That's
Well,
including,
yes. Well, that one kid who's clearly Indian playing, the one who's the smart kid. Well, they're
smart
both.
guy.
He's the nerdish one. They're both the daughter and the youngest daughter and the younger daughter and the younger son are both very smart. But that one kid is 100% Indian. Let's not mince words here.
Carter Young.
Carter Young
Plays
is
Zach Crandall.
yes. He may be black in real life, but in that movie, he's got some Indian face on him.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not instead of blackface, they put Indian.
I think they're like the main characters, like, to get in, right? Like, I know we talked about Miss Pat, who plays the mom in 2024, versus in 1991, Concetta Tomei plays the mom. I mean, at this point, I just call that a push. Like, at least Miss Pat, like, I recognize.
Yeah,
who that
Miss
is.
Pat, I'm like, yes.
But
like I said, like, it gives the characters. She's barely there. She's what in 2 scenes? She's in the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
And then that's it. In both movies. I have so much, like, you have some, like, especially in the original 1991, you have a lot of explaining to do, young lady. It's like, bitch, you got a lot of explaining to do. Like, where were you? Wait, you were in the Outback? Oh, you couldn't get in touch? Well, guess what? You have 5 kids. You don't have that luxury. And 2 of them are under the age of 12. Right. And then you're putting all this responsibility on, like, even if not, this other woman that you hired is 75 years old, that you're leaving a lot of responsibility for your daughter, Sue Ellen.
right.
Anyway. Swell.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's so much responsibility, and I think that's why in, like, both films, she can credibly just, like, what's the word? Like, obviously the Christina Applegate character in 1991 playing Sue Ellen, like, she can credibly out-mom the mom.
Yeah.
Like, when everything hits the fan, she's just like,
True.
all right, Mom, let me take it from here. I've been doing a much better job.
Yes, and in the other one, they arguably killed the babysitter.
Yeah.
Arguably.
Yeah, not when it's
And then definitely tried to cover up the murder.
yeah,
Like, I'm not saying they're going to jail, but they're definitely going to have to be in court.
have to.
Have to. 1991, I mean, they're probably not. They're probably not going to jail. They're probably not even going to be in court.
Leave the baby.
Yeah, leave the
babysitter.
Leave the babysitter in front of the funeral home. Who's to say? Like, I don't have any ties to her. Do you? Like, no one knows she's here. It's like, but in 2024, like they said, there are ties. There's a Facebook post. And she responded to a Facebook post. There's a trail. Is what I'm saying.
I think
They're going in front of a judge.
For sure.
They're not going to jail, but they're going in front of a
I
judge.
mean, even like have the interaction with the cops and stuff. Like, I think 2024 is grounded in, like, it's actually 2024, and they have to, like, write their way around a lot of things. The Christina Applegate.
So, what do you guys want for breakfast?
Cheese omelet.
SpaghettiOs. Breakfast is served.
The Christina Applegate equivalent in 2024 is Simone Joy Jones, who plays Tanya.
I am the executive assistant to the chief executive officer.
Bring it in, sis.
Tanya Sue Ellen Crandall, that you find out at the end.
It's a nice
Payoff.
It's a nice payoff.
So
This is good. Now that we got like the main people out of the way, I feel like I can just talk about them.
Yes.
2024. I think the writing, surprisingly, like I thought the writing was actually like for what this movie's gonna be, kind of sharp.
yeah,
Really,
I didn't think it was bad.
Kind of like clean and like it felt updated. There was like, it was definitely like, how do you put it? Urban. Like there's a black tone to it, but it's
That's
not
okay.
like, but it's not like over the top.
It's not over
like
the top at all.
Parody or caricature.
It's almost like the fact it's like, yeah, well, we happen to be black. I don't know what
exactly.
it is. It's not like this is specifically a black story. It's like, no, it's just that's it.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah, because even with that happen to be black thing, like
we happen to be black and our brothers happen to be Indian.
yeah, yes, don't ask questions. Like I don't know, they're the archetypes of the children. I feel like they're trying to like actually like differentiate them a bit more in 2024.
Yes.
Because like, all right, 1991, you got Christina Applegate, you got Stoner.
Yeah.
And then
Kenny, and they're both named Kenny. They're both stoners.
Yep.
They're both literally stereotypes of their generation. We have the one kid who's vaping all the time, wearing like the stupid clothes and getting high constantly, and like with the grills. And then the other one's like a heavy metal kid getting high all the time, wearing the stupid clothes. Like everyone, it's a stereotype of different generations,
Totally.
different races and different generations, but they're both the same stereotype, kind of. Like irresponsible.
They're irresponsible.
You wouldn't trust them with those kids.
Right, which is why
Idiots. Like shitless layabout.
which is why Swellen has to like hold down the fort, and like ultimately the movie is about her because it is like you said, it's a working girl situation. It's crazy. There's a lot of like you mentioned with the kid who may or may not be Indian. There's a lot of like smart guy shit going on in 2024. Like
Zach, by the way, he's Zach.
Yeah. But Zach, because he knows about like a murder of crows, and he goes on this like whole diatribe.
Which, okay.
And I guess the little girl in this one is a genius.
Yes, she's also a very smart kid.
If she were older, she would clearly just be in charge.
Yes.
No reason she's not is because she's like 12.
Yes. But it's also like they both have like this morose idea kind of to them. Like this one when they're trying to figure out what to do with the dead body. The girl, she knows how to dispose of it, no problem. Has all these great ideas and like blah blah blah. It's like, ugh, how do you know how to do that? And she's like pumped when she sees the dead body. She's like, oh, my first dead body. And then the other kid, obsessed with these crows, is like, crows recognize people and stuff. So it's almost like, what's going on with you guys? Like, you both have this strange fascination with these dark things. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
These morose ideas.
And like, tonally.
Which neither one of them in the original have.
No.
There's also three kids, three younger kids in the original. There's the older kid, Zach, same name. And then, I don't remember the girl's name. And then there's Walter. Walter, who is obsessed with like watching television, daytime television in general.
Which, like, I guess they rolled that into...
That she's obsessed with video games.
Yeah, the girl, exactly.
Which is actually better.
It is.
Because, like, yeah, don't get me wrong, I watched TV when I was a kid, but I don't... Like, the games are much more enthralling than daytime television in 1991. Trust me. I could only watch so much of The Price is Right. Even when I was sick. Oh, listen, I was pretty pumped when I was that. But
it was the rarity which made it so good.
That's exactly it.
Like,
if he's watching it all day, every day, you're not gonna.
Yeah, you're ruining it.
Yeah, it's almost. But when you're playing video games, it's much more involved.
There's nothing better, and I don't know how these kids would ever get the equivalent these days, but there's nothing better than the only reason I can watch this is because I didn't go to school today.
That's right.
It's
Yeah, there was no. You weren't TiVo in that.
No.
Shit, you wouldn't TiVo it now because TiVo doesn't exist.
That's a great point.
Yeah, there was no DVRing it. There would be nothing. You had to be home at 10 o'clock in the morning to watch Price is Right, and then you'd have to watch Jerry Springer at 11, Maury Povich, all that shit.
Oh, all that shit. You're making a good point though about like youth, because ultimately, again, when it's not the working girl, it is sort of this fantasy that a kid would have. What if I had the whole summer by myself?
Yes.
And 1991, I mean, until they started getting their hands on some of that slush money, kind of, in my opinion, kind of squandering it. Like,
Oh, yeah.
2024.
It's I would argue that both of these movies are about the loss of innocence. That's what I would say if I want to get into a philosophical debate about it. Because what do you want when you're younger? You want to be older so that you can do all these things.
Right.
But then you realize when the guardian that's in charge of you, who's this tyrant, dies, now you no longer have that person looking over you. But with the tyrant comes also protection as far as money, food, all that stuff goes.
It's a deferred responsibility.
Yes, deferred. You don't have to worry about that. Now these kids have to worry about that, and she's complaining like she doesn't get to go to Spain for the summer, and then in the other one she can't go somewhere. I don't remember. I think it's Italy.
Something like that.
I think it's Italy in the original. She can't go, so just to mess around, go around, do nothing. But now she has to get a job. The other one has to take care of the house. He has to raise the children. The children have to behave better because they can't... Like, the whole thing, their whole summer is destroyed.
Right.
And all they wanted to do was just party and hang out.
Totally.
But they don't do any of that, really.
They do it like once, and then after that, it's like reality just hits them.
Reality hits them like, oh no, the loss of... like, being an adult is not all it's cracked up to be. I have to wake up every day. Oh, it's really hot. I gotta sit in traffic. Everything sucks. I don't have any money. Oh, I gotta sacrifice my dreams so that these kids don't starve. Like, everything about it is like, oh, it's like an introduction to adulthood that you don't want. Meanwhile, the guy who, her boyfriend in the original, Brian, he's also the boyfriend in the second one.
Right.
But in the original, Brian is saving up to buy a car and, like, saving up to go to school.
Sure.
And he's working at a crappy Clown Dog. Clown Dog, which is a takeoff of any amalgam of awful fast food restaurants.
Love it.
But he's actually, like, enjoying himself working this shitty job.
Sure. Like, again, when you're talking about innocence, Brian's situation may not be the best, but, like, he's not upset.
But he's also 17 years old.
Right.
So
he's not upset about it. He's actually proud that he's the Clown Dog guy.
Exactly. And if you were Brian's parents, you'd be like, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, good for you. Get a job and shit.
Kids are just taking care of business.
Yeah, you're out there late, you're scrubbing the fryolator, you're driving the truck, you're hooking your sister up with free food.
I think the 1991 Brian works better.
Well, the whole relationship. That's my big qualm with the 2024. Is they're in a relationship because the script said so.
Right.
Like the other one, they actually seem to like each other. This one, it's like, oh, yeah, the banter is so awful. Like, it's just like, yes, and he's so into her from the rip. Also, you're like, how old are you?
Right.
How, like, this guy, Brian in the 2024, for those of you who haven't seen it, he's an architect, or wants to be an architect, or I don't know, but he goes to Syracuse University, wants to be an architect, and all he talks about is architecture, and then feeling up on this girl, on Tanya. And so Tanya's 17. I don't know how old he is, but it's...
That's the thing that's weird about it, right? Like,
it's like, but then they have nothing in common.
Like, in 1991, you got Josh Charles.
What are these things? They're great. Come on, bounce with me.
No, come on, I feel stupid. We are too old to bounce.
Oh, come on. Bouncing is an ageless pastime.
Who, like, is clearly the same age as Christina Applegate.
Absolutely.
At least that's how the film, like, they feel like peers.
Yes.
And
if not, 2 years difference.
Maybe.
Okay. But this guy seems to have, like, everything figured out in his career. Like, I'm going to be an architect. I'm going to do, like...
This guy, like... So, the actor is Miles Fowler in 20...
I have a date. Nothing past second base. We don't need another mouth to feed.
24. And, like, you're right. Like, she's obviously, like, still teen coach. She's, like, 17 or whatever. Yeah. Then he's asking, what's your favorite type of architecture?
Which is an awful...
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's an awful pickup line. What's your favorite building? What?
Yeah.
Like, architecturally. I never thought about it. And she's like, I'm such an idiot. It's like, no, that's a fucking stupid question.
It's a very
If I ever said that to a woman, I would get hot coffee thrown in my face. Like, that is not a pickup line. Everyone out there in YouTube land, be like, hey, do you have any... I don't know. I'm kind of into architecture. Do you have any like favorite buildings? What would
Right.
you think? Like, I only kind of know how to answer that question in my late 30s.
Yeah, exactly.
And I know different kinds of a little bit about everything.
Yeah, I probably would answer that.
Yeah, I would answer. Oh,
don't
even
know
if you said the
fucking
Washington Monument.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally. I think the tone too, because we made the younger kids smarter. Like Brian's whole act in 2024 is just being like the smart guy. Yo, the asteroid is coming. It's the first time in 37,000 years. It's like,
how about you stop talking down to me, nerd?
Yeah, her little kid sister's smarter than you, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like this bitch will kill you.
Yeah.
This bitch is Dexter.
She hacked the Pentagon this morning.
Yeah, legit.
Like straight up, and hit a body.
Yeah, and that other kid, that Indian kid in the other room,
yeah.
that kid's smarter than you too, Brian. What you know about asteroids? You see that girl's shirt? It had A-E-I-O-U and sometimes Y.
Love that shit. The other problem, like tonally, I'm saying that there's a problem now, I guess.
With 2020, that's not a problem.
No, with actually it is 2024. The Rose problem, because we lose Rose, like
Yes.
that level of Rose, the whole movie suffers.
Yeah, that suffers.
Because like in 1991, when Christina Applegate gets to the job, she's confused. Like I'm confused. I'm like, I don't know what the hell. What's a QED report? What are you supposed to do? And there's like actual work that she's supposed to do that she's incapable of doing because of her age.
Yes.
And she like smartly finds a way out of it.
Yes.
You don't have to.
She smartly figures out how to delegate that work.
Yeah. 2024, like
she just doesn't do it.
Exactly, and it's fine because like there's nothing to do.
Yes, and also like
it's a fake job.
Is it just me or like when through Rose, like the way she plays it, of like her being considerate to Sue Ellen and welcoming and nice to her, and being like a role model, supportive boss. Because of the way she plays it, Joanna, whatever her name is, plays it. It is so much more realistic than when Nicole Richie plays it. I feel like it's a big practical joke that she's doing it. She's overly nice because she's like, "Oh my God, girl, we're gonna do it." Like, I feel like she's setting her up to like so she trips and falls in dog shit, and I mean literally dog shit. Like her nose goes right to like oh, like it's a crappy 1990s rap video.
Yeah, because there's like no point, right? Like the original Rose is genuinely impressed by the resume.
Yes,
and you know she's like looking at reference, like, oh my God, you went to Vassar, and like, and she just makes the call. Like, there's no sob story, why do you want the job? Which we get in 2024, it's like...
Why she wants the job is because she wants the money. Like because she's desperate. That's why she wants the job.
Like, in 1991, Christina Applegate, like, doesn't try to impress her. She just kind of does.
Yes.
Like, in 2024, she's trying to impress Rose, but there's really no reason to try to impress this woman.
Yes.
You know?
Also, there's something to the fact that in 1991, she doesn't have help of the two genius siblings,
right?
Who literally made all these accounts for her, and then all these references for her, and then wrote the resume for her, and then found her the job. Right. Sue Ellen does all that in 1991 by herself.
Completely like.
And then through, not only like it's not that she excelled and was like so much smarter than these people. She lies. Right. She flat out lies. Because out of desperation. So through that desperation, she gets the job. But in 1991, if you lied on a resume, no one kind of knows. Whereas if you go to in 2024, it takes very little checking. Oh wait, you have how many? Like you're on Instagram, all these things. Oh, look, no followers? When did you set this account up? Oh, yesterday. Okay. What are you talking about? Like, this would take no time at all for a powerful woman of basically Vogue magazine.
Right.
Who is in charge of Vogue magazine and has all these stores.
It's a whole Devil Wears Prada scenario.
Immediately would be like, oh, this person is 17 years old.
Right.
When they run your fucking, when they run your social security guard, hey, weird thing came up in our background check for you. It says here that you're 17 years old.
Right.
What's the deal with that?
Right. Where are these taxes?
Yeah, where are these taxes? What are we doing? Like, where in the original one, it would take a lot longer. Like, for the summer.
Years.
Yes. It would, no, okay. It would, let's say it would take a year before you file taxes. But for that summer, she'd be fine.
Oh, yeah.
But immediately, when she fills out that form and gets put into the system, she is fired. Like, she does not have that job.
Yeah. I think what you're describing kind of locks on an issue with 2024 is that Tanya, I guess I'm still calling her Swell.
Yes.
Her issue tonally in this film is that, yeah, we've taken that away from her.
Yeah, she's also incompetent.
Exactly.
So, not only is she a criminal, she's also incompetent. In the first one, she's not incompetent.
Like
she's capable of doing everything.
The fact that she takes as far as she does.
Yes.
And like what she does to make it all work. Christina Applegate's character, like we were talking about, it's completely over the top. Like
yes.
she made it, and she owns the win.
Yes, she owns exactly. Whereas this is shared.
This is
like these other kids.
Even the stoners kind of like stepping it up, and like way earlier.
Yes.
Than that happens in 1991.
Absolutely.
Like this is a collaborative effort from the beginning, and like 1991, like the desperation that comes from just the fact that like
it's just
you guys please.
Yeah, you fucking
stop
idiots.
fucking this up.
Yes.
So that I can feed you and keep you alive. Like they have no interest in self-preservation.
Yes. Also, like there's a big issue in both movies of when Rose gets the job and she's waiting for her money to get paid because it takes 2 weeks for you to collect a check. In that time, they don't have any money, so in the original, she takes money from petty cash, which is cash.
Yeah.
That she takes petty cash from the office that's used for office supplies, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And she takes it to feed the family. Okay. She's going to cash her check when she gets paid, replace the money. No problem. In the sequel, the remake, it's a corporate credit card.
Right.
Where she has to submit receipts to accounting because if every cent doesn't match up, it is embezzlement.
Yes.
So the second she buys groceries with that corporate card, she is fired. It's not like you just walk in and be like, sorry, use the wrong card. Here's the exact money. No. They say, you cannot do that.
Right.
Don't ever do that again, or you're fired. Strike 1, 2, and 3, you're fired.
Right there. And
that is embezzlement. You cannot do that.
And like, real incompetence to the fact that like, she just kind of just hands the card away.
Oh, yes.
At least she gets robbed in 1991.
Yeah, those kids. No, like that's like a whole thing because that is also like what a kid would do. They took like that one kid has the entertainment system. He buys he buys the whole Walter buys the whole entertainment system, which is. Can we just talk about the state-of-the-art entertainment system of 1991 that he spends X amount of dollars, hundreds of dollars on? That is so shitty.
So shitty.
That is so awful.
TV's this big.
The TV is 6 by 6 inches.
The rest of it's just like a tower.
I was telling you, like, it brought back a memory to me of when I used to go to, when I would go to these Giants, this is pre-9/11, by the way. I would go to these Giant Stadium games, and the guys in front of me were my dad's friends, because my dad had season tickets to the Giants all the time, the New York football Giants, by the way.
That's right.
And every Sunday, for 8 Sundays a year, the same guys would sit around you. And this guy used to have this old TV, which was exactly like that one in that movie. And he would be like, hey, you want to watch the halftime report? And then he would open the screen, and it was a hollowed-out TV, and it was filled with beers. And he'd be like, here's the halftime report. Who wants a beer? Who wants a beer? You want a beer?
That's
and, like, yes, pre-9/11, it was a good time.
That's great.
Yeah, it was good.
That's also, like, the level of...
But that's what the TV was.
Yes, but it's also the level of, like, forethought that goes into
this.
Like, his plan to be like, all right, it's a TV, but I'm putting my beers in it.
Yeah, but I don't care about the
way
TV.
these kids' brains work.
Yes. Exactly.
They're like, I got money. I got a TV system.
Hey, we got money. What are you gonna do? You're gonna replace it anyway. We got a TV system.
We can't.
But at the same time, that's something a kid would do.
100%.
If someone gave me X amount of money, I wouldn't think about food. I would be like, well, I'm buying this entertainment system.
And like, for whatever, because of one, like again, going back to Rose, I think all roads lead back to Rose, because Rose has like this demanding schedule and job and everything like that. You start to feel it for Christina Applegate. You're
Yes.
like, damn, dude, like this is a lot. How are you gonna get through this when she gets robbed? Like I'm like genuinely like concerned.
Yes.
About the character.
Also, like there's also a level of, let's just put it this way, 1991. There are some level of white trash.
Yeah.
They're white trash. They live. Where do they live? The Outback? What are they doing? What is with their they live in like a sand pit with. It's a nice-ish house. It kind of looks like a haunted house that's on a sand pit.
What type of mother in 1991 isn't friendly with the neighbors? Like
there are no neighbors.
There's no neighbors going to pop. I guess you're right.
There are no neighbors. Like they're in a desolate. It's literally like that house in Arrested Development. Like it's just there's nothing else around. In like just sand everywhere. It's like where are these? Where do you live? What city is that in the first one?
It's a great question.
I don't know. Like I was thinking, like, is this Los Angeles? Because it's warm, but it's the summer. So where does she drive? What's going on? How do they? And I understand but like there's like literally not a shred of grass.
Right.
Like it's like sand.
And what was her salary back then? I feel like it was 30, 40 grand.
Yeah,
like
40 grand or something like that.
Which the 60 grand. I'm always splitting hairs with these movies. The 60 grand in LA in 2024. I'm like, yeah, okay, that'll get you through the summer.
Yeah, well, like it'll get you through the summer.
She doesn't have to pay rent.
Yeah, she doesn't have to pay the mortgage. She doesn't have to pay rent. She doesn't have to give anyone any fucking money. It's literally just for food. That should be enough.
And like
more than enough.
It's also a job that like she kind of could get.
Yeah.
Like it's not like Christina Applegate has to lie.
Yes.
To get this job. There's no evidence that Tanya or Sewell in this one couldn't just get this job. Like,
other than the fact that she is underage.
Well, yes, that. Like, it doesn't seem very demanding.
Yeah.
You know?
No.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading. It's Nicole Richie, right?
Yeah.
Kind of really fucking bad.
Yeah, she's really terrible at background checks.
Her delivery of lines and
it's very cardboard. She's as wooden as it gets.
Yeah.
She might as well be just a mallard walking around like the floating mallards.
That'd be better. That'd be better.
Because like what I'm saying, my point is though in 1991 is they're very white trashes.
Right.
Shish. Like there's very few sleeves. Like Sue trying to excel past that. She's trying to get out of that. Whereas in the 2024, they're pretty affluent.
No,
like
the house is very nice.
The house is very nice. It's nice in the beginning. Like they have to fix up the house for the fashion show at the end of the first one.
Right.
And they have to don't get me wrong, the bare bones are there and it could be nice, but it's meant to look shitty.
Sure.
Like the whole time. Like the swimming pool's a mess. They're living in a desert, barren front lawn. There's nothing going on. Like, it looks like they're in the middle of a dust bowl. Those kids, like, Walter dresses like shit. Kenny doesn't own sleeves.
Yeah.
His hair looks like white trash. Like, they're white trash. That's what it is. And then the second one, they're not trash. They're definitely, like, affluent. Everything's nice.
They're clearly affluent, right? Like, the house is nice. Everything's going on, but they're just kids.
Yeah, they're kids. Like so but all I'm saying is like the opposite of like what overly spending is true to like the white kids in the first one.
Yeah.
That a certain kind of rich, if you will.
Right.
So when they get the petty cash, they're blowing it on stupid shit.
The dumbest shit.
The dumbest shit of the entertainment system. The one kid, Zach, buys his unseen girlfriend, diamond ring, and then all that shit. So the they call it a Jaja ring, Jaja diamond ring.
Something like that.
Yeah, that which is a very 1991 reference. And that kid, oh my god, I could talk about that kid for an hour. Like, I'm sorry, what? There were several scenes of Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead that were cut out of Zach's scenes That kid right there.
Oh yeah, Christopher Pettit.
Yeah, Chris. Oh my God! Because apparently he's like 13 years old in that movie, and he is a full-on junkie.
Yeah,
You're like, wow, like he's Anthony Kiedis. like, he's like they had to cut out a bunch of scenes because his drug use was interfering with the film. Like it's like, don't get us wrong. Here at Retroverse Remake, we don't
judge.
Like, we don't judge your substance abuse. Hell, some of us may have done stuff in the past. And we are all about excess in this family. But Jesus, man, 13 years old or 14, whatever he was. But he was supposed to be like 12.
Well, he didn't live much longer.
He didn't mention. Yeah, he lived till like 2000. Yeah. He didn't. Speaking of pre 9/11.
Oh boy.
I mean, but he was only in that and like Point Break.
Yeah.
He was in, which is also a Retroverse remake. Watch that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in that one though. Anyway, although I wish I were.
Yeah.
We
might figure a way.
We might figure a way to just redo that.
We actually should do Dune at some point because the second one came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should.
Keep that on the.
I gotta read that book still. I digress.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is when his kid, if she's also what I'm saying is the second one. It's like you're not gonna. I don't know. He could have figured something out more with the money. Whereas
I think so.
To get the food. Also, the fact that they threw away the money with the car into the purse.
Like this time, like the fact that they didn't have money was kind of their fault.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I would the first thing I do,
of course,
if I'm checking that old lady is going through her purse for money. That's the first thing, number one thing I'm doing. If I'm already getting rid of her body, I'm robbing her too.
I think it's part of the problem. I don't always want to say problem, but like I guess part of the problem with the writing is that it's actually like too good at times to like shoehorn in with the old plot.
Yes.
Like those kids wouldn't have missed that detail.
They wouldn't.
Like it actually is out of character that they threw the money away effectively.
Yeah, it's almost like it's lazy.
Yeah.
Like the movie was written far better than it has any business being.
Far better.
Far better to be that lazy in certain spots.
That's right.
And it doesn't, like in the first one, if you...
I bought this cat with petty cash.
Yeah. That's why his name's Tom Petty.
Like the first one, when they're doing, because they're, like you said, they are white trash. You're right. Like they're not affluent. In some ways, they're not very bright. And like Christina Applegate, like...
And also, you're just looking at the surface. That mother has 5 kids running off to Australia with her new boyfriend. That's a white trash move. That's all I'm saying.
It's a bit of a move.
That's a white trash move.
How many times you get to go to Australia? Like
that's true. Well, maybe you should wait 10 years until those kids are, a little older.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, though. Sure. I was thinking about this when I was watching this. If you were Tanya or Sue Ellen,
okay,
and in the time when you would have been them, so you were 17 years old,
sure,
would your parents have left you for, because you're the eldest, too.
Yeah.
And I'm the middle, so I'm going to say, like, I'm going to pretend my older sibling doesn't exist. Would your parents leave you alone for the summer? Would they have left you alone?
Me, yes. Like
in charge, like you would have been in charge without a babysitter coming by.
I guess it depends on my siblings' ages. I don't think the whole summer, but like I think they would have gave me a month.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Like I don't
know. Me a month,
I don't, dude. I don't. Like, I was thinking like for 2 weeks, no problem.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. 2 weeks, not even a question. They would have left like some money, and then it would have been like, all right, well, you also have a job.
In case emergency call this person.
In case and my dad was like an early cell phone guy. He had a cell phone. He's like, call me if you need. And then I'm out. But like at the time when she would be 17, my older brother would have been 21. So, right. Yes, like we're not getting a babysitter at that point. But if I were 17, definitely like 2 weeks, maybe a month. Yeah. I don't know, the whole summer though, that's a long time.
It's a long time.
That's a long time.
Because like the way it would have been broken up in my house, 17, 12, and like 9.
Yeah, that's a young guy.
They would have been perfectly fine leaving me for the summer, effectively, but like with the responsibility of like watching them, I don't think so.
I don't know, because my younger brother would have been 14.
Yeah.
So that, I don't know, we probably would have made that work.
Yeah.
I don't know, they probably would have left. Yeah, I think they might have. Although I do remember around that time, a friend of mine, he's Filipino, his parents went to the Philippines for like the entire summer.
Yeah.
And we got bombed at that house every night.
Awesome.
Every single night.
Awesome.
My one friend and I would we would get drunk and play chess, and we would play every night, and then it was great. Anyway, but it was a great time. It was a great summer for everybody.
Like, yeah. And I mean, I've done summers like not with my parents, but usually like staying with like a family member. Like when I was younger, I would go to like my grandmother's who lived, like East Orange and stuff back in the day. But like, yeah. Again, going back to like the white trash or like the kids, like these kids are fuck ups.
Yeah, they're all fuck ups.
That's why they can't be left.
Even she's a fuck up she's a brat, kind of. Like, she's kind of like, okay, shut up, kid.
And
she's very self-centered in the beginning of the film.
For sure. And what's funny about 2024 is maybe the answer to that would have been yes, but like the same day that she's, supposed to take over, she's like, pick up your own damn kids. It's like, okay, so you're texting your mom, like, you kind of, this is your L. You have to eat it.
Yeah.
Because you're like openly antagonizing your mother.
That's right.
Right before you're supposed to go on a trip to Spain. Like,
that's right. And this woman who is
taking away trips.
Yeah, love. Like my parents, and they would absolutely. What'd you say?
Yeah.
Like, what'd you? Oh, guess where you're not going now, asshole.
Yeah. Like, let me save a quick $2,000. You
$2,000. You're lucky if it's $2,000.
Seriously.
A month in Spain or whatever she was doing. But that's why it's like, so when those problems don't exist really, like, it's more believable in the original that they would blow through that money. The second one, they don't seem, they're irresponsible, but there's also like a huge paper trail with that.
Totally.
That's why I'm just like, what are you doing? You can't do that.
Again, it goes back to taking a swing with this movie and remaking it and keeping it in the actual time period of now. You're going to run into these problems, right?
Exactly.
So this kid is smart enough to make you a MySpace, to cover
MySpace.
Yeah, like to cover the fact that like you're not 25 or whatever.
Yeah.
She makes fake IDs. She knows how to like dodge like the coroner and shit, like or people that do autopsies and shit. Like she knows all this stuff, but then they're willing to like you said, do embezzlement and fraud. Like it doesn't always track.
Yeah, it's like you're smart enough to do that, but not that. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Like you're not smart enough to look in the dead babysitter's. I keep saying dead grandmother.
Yeah.
Dead babysitter's wallet for money. Like, wait, what happened to that money that mom left? We saw her give her a giant envelope of cash.
I know.
So I know it's here somewhere.
The first film, they have like a better reason, because like when the babysitter dies, which in both films is immediately, basically. They really are like really scrambling.
Yes.
In 2024, they're like, all right, let's hide the body in the fridge a little bit. Let's talk the cops down. We'll figure this out. They have such a plan that like the fact that part.
That's why I almost like wish it didn't follow the same. I wish that they were like, okay, we have like $1,200 to last us this summer. Okay, how do we do this economically? And they start figuring out how much, like how the one kid in 2024, the Indian kid starts breaking down fucking Slumdog starts breaking down
spreadsheets.
He starts breaking down how much she's making, like she's basically Ubering. When she's Ubering, and he's breaking down how much she made based on how much next to how much money they need to survive. He's like $360 a week is not going to cover what we need to eat, which. Right. By the way, if you go to a grocery store, yes, it would.
Definitely would. Even in these inflated
times, that would just eat a lot of. You could eat a lot of crap. You're 12 years old. You're 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old. But it would be a much more interesting movie. I'm just gonna pitch this.
Sure.
If they were like, okay, I'm 17. What if we sold drugs? And then they got a bunch of ecstasy or mushrooms or something.
That'd be kind of cool.
That it's now you have to avoid the police. Now you have, and then you get involved with much worse people. That when your mom came home, you are legitimately in trouble.
You couldn't do it with a black cast.
I know, that's true.
you'd have to.
It turns into The Wire.
You'd have to fire all the black people.
Yeah, if you did it with white kids.
Hire white kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that could be interesting.
That would be much. Because then you wouldn't run into these problems.
Like when she's talking to Kenny in the remake, I thought there was a moment where she was like, "Hey, you got to figure it out in the meantime."
Yeah.
I thought like, "Oh,
sell some weed.
We're gonna pitch it. Let's go. We're selling some weight. I like it."
Yeah, exactly. Sell some weed to your underage friends.
That Kenny, like, the first Kenny is such a burnout.
Yeah, he's not charming at all.
The
first one.
This one, like, he pulls shit off. Like,
yeah.
Again, early, and that's again. I go back to that tone of the film, and like you were saying, the white trash versus whatever's happened in 2024. In 2024, even with all the vaping and the weed smoking and shit like that, like when the cop shows up, he's like, "Hey, I know."
He's capable.
Yeah, I know this guy from when I played lacrosse.
Yeah, and none of that. There's also another level to Kenny in the 2024 remake. Mm-hmm. He's capable, but it's also he's fucking. He's fucking.
Yo, what a party!
Yeah, he's a party. And those girls are coming in and out of that house all day while this girl's at work. They might not come in because she might scream at him, but even that guy doesn't care that his sister's bitching at him.
Also,
but Kenny, the original one, is not.
No.
He is a loser.
He is a complete
He's a loser.
Even the friends in 2024, Kenny's friends, yo, that dude that looks like he could play for the fucking A's.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe he'll loan you a couple dollars for the summer.
He's like, yo, I could make this work. Oh, your brother and sister need food? Okay, well, let's get a pizza, guys.
Yeah.
We'll figure this out.
Yeah, man.
That's a big difference of, his turnaround. When the 2024, he starts cooking and stuff, I don't know. There's a lot of things that he could have done. There's a lot of things that he can do, I'm sure. Kenny in the original is useless.
Yes.
And so when he starts cooking, you're like, oh, the big turnaround is he realizes I do all these things, and all of a sudden now I'm doing all right. It's almost like the Donald Trump thing. People are like, I hate Donald Trump, and I wish that he was different. But if everything he did got him, him being the way he is, got to be president, why would he change?
Exactly.
So Kenny in the second one, if he's getting buns at 16, he's smoking weed, he's hanging out, he's having a good time, his sister's making cake that she's bringing to him.
Right.
Why is he gonna change? Why is he gonna step up and be like, you know what I need to do? Cook. That's
especially when you have geniuses.
Yeah, running the show.
His behavior makes perfect
Who's
sense.
the real genius?
It's obviously Kenny.
It's Kenny.
His behavior makes perfect sense.
Perfect sense.
Logically.
Why would he change? I wouldn't change. And the second one, hey man, you want to hang out with your friends, but I have plenty of friends. Eventually gets to a point where you know what I would like? To hang out with a woman.
Yeah. I just think that in 2024, when Kenny is yo, we're throwing a party, he doesn't care what you guys come up with the excuse.
Yeah.
I'm throwing a party.
I'm throwing a party, one way or another.
So whatever you gotta tell the babysitter.
Yeah, you do whatever you want to do. Wheels are in motion here already.
Which I think, why you have to arm, I know it's a starter pistol, but I think you have to give the babysitter a pistol.
Yeah.
In that, because
it's not a starter pistol, though. It's a fucking gun.
Yeah.
It's a snub-nosed revolver.
It really is. It's like the scene from Taxi Driver.
Yes, exactly.
But,
and the random sneezing is weird to them.
Yeah, the random sneezing is weird. I don't know if that was supposed to be, some kind of COVID commentary.
I don't know.
The woman, I guess she was sick, but that doesn't matter.
But, I mean, it does, because she dies. So
True.
Maybe that was a precursor to letting you know she wasn't well.
I just think...
But sneezing? Sneezing is usually not a sign of death.
No. Even with everything going on, the babysitter from hell situation, outside of the gun, it's I don't get how that woman would stop Kenny from doing
Absolutely not.
anything.
That's also the other thing, too, is, Kenny is a pussy in the original. He's a pussy. He's not going to stand up to that woman.
Right.
No one is. Sue Ellen's not, because she's I hate this woman, but I'm also not a rebellious.
Right.
Like, this guy's rebellious, but he's also a pussy.
Right.
Like, that's the whole thing.
Right.
In this one, he don't give a fuck. Like,
Right.
he's not going to care if this woman, like, oh, you have a gun? Shoot me, bitch.
Exactly.
Like, I dare you.
I love it. The guy's got a grill. He's taking fine china, hitting it with baseball bats outside.
The dishes are
like
done,
he's
man.
getting buns.
He's getting buns. Like, he's doing...
He's got his on YouTube. He's like filming
Yeah,
shit.
he's got a dream. No matter how stupid it is, but he's 15, 16. Of course it's stupid.
Yeah.
And by the way, not as dumb as some of the things I've seen kids do. As a
100%.
guy that works with kids, like, I've seen kids do a lot dumber things for less attention.
Yes. Yeah. And
with worse, like, marketing schemes.
but what's why we could talk about Kenny this much is, again, the movies aren't the same. Like the deferral of responsibility and everyone kind of having their shit together. There's less reason to care about what Tanya or Sue Ellen's doing.
Yes.
Right? Because, like...
It's true.
When Christina Applegate's doing... Like, we better follow this character because everything falls apart if she's gone.
Yes.
Like, yeah, technically, like, she's the one that could make money. But, like, I don't know. This Kenny feels like he could come up with a fallback plan. Like, the other one's such a burnout and pussy
Yes.
that, like, no shot.
Nothing.
There's no shot.
Those kids die.
This guy just kind of, like, feels like, again, smartest guy in the room. He's like, yeah, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
But he could. He
absolutely could.
If he wanted to.
Yeah, he could absolutely do it. And, like, if she wasn't there, maybe he would.
Yeah.
Like, maybe he would step up. But he doesn't have to. So
Yeah.
he's not gonna.
In fact, actually, in the movie, in the remake, because they spin for it, they flip for it. Like, he actually gets chosen to be the one to go work. And he's like, nah.
Nah, I'm not doing
And
that.
they're just like, all right.
Yeah.
It's
And
your turn.
the other kids are like, yo, you're the better choice. You're doing it.
Yeah.
Like, but the spin and the vape, even like that, the demarcation of who's gonna get a job. I'm just gonna say Sue Ellen or Kenny in both movies.
Sure.
They in the remake they spin a vape.
Yeah.
In the original, talk about white trash. They flip a pizza box, a used pizza box that just happens to be in their kitchen.
Yeah.
Because they don't throw anything away because they're garbage people.
Yeah. Oh my god.
But like the fact that he doesn't do, I mean it's like that he's capable, but also it seems like because of that, like the stakes in 1991 are higher.
Yeah.
Because like
No,
this
definitely.
job, you also in 1991, she has a coworker who is out to get her.
Totally.
Where in the remake, she initially is, and you're like, oh, but they have a cohort, like she has a cohort that she wants to like plot and get against. But in the 2024 remake, which in 1991, it is David Duchovny, and that
Boulder,
woman,
man.
that woman is embittered the way people in offices are. That they like the slightest infraction, I hate that person. I'm going to do everything to bring them down if I possibly can, if every opportunity arises.
Again, that office feels real.
Yes.
Right? Like, everyone's motivation makes sense. Like, why they're doing the things they do. Gus being a complete...
yes.
Fucking
Creep.
animal.
Yeah,
you know?
just an absolute creep.
Yep. Like, all of it feels like a workplace. In 2024, it feels like a set.
Yeah, it looks like a set.
You know, it's
exactly. Like, oh, this one, and like within a second, she's like very confident, like, that's a fine man you got there. Like, I would not be talking about anyone's fucking. Oh, is that your boyfriend? Is that your whatever? Like, what the fuck are you?
Right.
Like, I would not be. You don't mention shit like that. Like, you're very comfortable in this office after being here for 10 minutes. And then,
exactly right.
and also your rival in the office is now apologizing to you for like getting off on the wrong foot
and
Granted,
doing your
she's-
work.
Yeah, and doing your work and volunteering to be like, hey, if you need help with anything.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like the other girl who's like a sap, not a sap, but she's like, hey, I want to be. Like she's
just a nice
they
girl.
combine. She's a nice person. She's like, hey, I did this, and I'm so glad to like get the opportunity to work on this because she wants to advance the right way in an office.
Correct.
Like of like, hey, I want to do this work and show that I'm capable. And then Sue Ellen also delegates it and gives her credit for it that she did the work.
100%.
I mean, it's great she's forced to do that, but it works out for both of them.
Right.
And then the other woman, I'm just like trying to like sabotage her at every step, but then they combine the two. You can't combine those two characters. You can't. It's like the guy that yeah, he's your stepfather. He's also really supportive at every one of your baseball games and sends you to college, but he also molests you. Like, that's not that guy. You can't do that. No. Just, you gotta, if you're gonna stick with that script at one point, make those two separate people.
If you're the next in line for the job, and this random woman jumps you,
yeah,
you wouldn't help her.
No, you're not gonna help her.
You would try to get her fired.
I did like the aspect of she has the guy that she's her cohort, David Duchovny, in 1991, and they both want to bring her down. But what I think 2024 does better is, what's David Duchovny's motivation? What does he give a shit? Like, what does he care?
Right.
He works in this office, whatever. She didn't get the promotion. Why does he give a shit? Like, I don't know if you guys know this. No guys really care what their spouse does for a living. They're like, it's not like a deal breaker for them. Like, oh, you're just a tennis instructor? No, you're like, okay, cool, nice for you. Like, you could be. No, they're not doing that. Like, and I guess they're together. They're an item in the first one. I guess. I don't know.
I guess.
But in this one, she has a gay work friend.
Yeah.
Who basically tells her, you're insane. Stop, if you want to get ahead, be nice to her, because being nice to her is being nice to Rose. So, which, hey, that makes sense. That's great thinking. Good. Be nice, and so she does the work for her, I guess, but now that takes away that animosity in the office. That's a whole other aspect of the working girl thing in 1991.
Apparently, there's no David Duchovny. I think that's Gus Kenworthy, who is just the guy.
Yeah, who is also, it takes away, that makes her more comfortable. Like, the fish out of water thing works because Rose is, like, a real person.
Right.
And then everyone else kind of hates her.
Right.
Which is what, it makes it a much more interesting dynamic. This one, it's like, everyone's kind of cool.
Right. Everyone's kind of cool, and, yeah, it takes away certain elements. Like, I know ultimately we're following the same beats where, because she's young, she's got a better idea of what the youth are into or want to wear. But, not really, because you lose credibility on that in the party scene.
Yeah.
When she's trying to hang out with those girls, and they're like, you're not cool.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, she's not
a cool... Christina Applegate is, the cool chick that's trying to go on this summer vacation who, her mom kind of fucks that up for her.
Yeah.
But, she's got friends...
And also, that girl would, Christina Applegate's a smoke show.
Right.
She's gonna, she's cool. She knows what's going on. She knows, everyone, all the people that want to be, she knows them.
Right.
She knows she's going to these parties. She has the opportunity. This one, there's nothing cool about her.
No.
None.
I was joking because, from the costume design, when she first goes into the office, it's is that one of the jackets from Clueless?
Yeah, she doesn't have her fashion sense is weird. Christina Applegate's fashion sense is on point. I mean, it's 1991 fashion, but it's on point. It's different.
For sure. This is
nah.
Exactly, nah.
It doesn't work, and you're not gonna be ooh, you're taking bold choices. But also, I don't know. It's just the whole idea of Christina Applegate, well, she's a smoke show.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
This other one, you're not.
I think, too, where the film gets hampered at times is, it's clear, this is a BET production, and what I mean by that is that they have a streaming app. They have an interest in, their, just like any streaming app, their shows and movies to, be popular and watch. And there's, a scene where Nicole Richie's get BET on the line. I'm oh, don't do that. Or when they were playing the music in the car when she was with Ride Bros, the fake Uber, I was this must be an artist.
And the guy Brian was rapping so hard to the female artist. He was what?
Yeah,
that is so. You're that would not. That's not everything. He's just over the top.
He's way over the top.
Really over the top. You're trying much. That real guy, if that guy is a real person, he kills people.
Yeah,
he's a murderer.
He's not a good guy.
He's a serial. He does something that's weird because he's overcompensating for that.
Totally. Anyone that's that
enthusiastic about someone.
Yeah, it's just probably a piece of shit.
Yeah, just hey, calm down.
Yeah.
Pull it back.
Right?
Pull it back a little bit.
First date. Let's see where it goes. You know?
Hey, just so you know, I love you. What?
Yeah.
Whoa. Pump them brakes, son.
Yeah, they give him way too many of those little like rom-com moments. Like he gets her flowers for a date, and then the date is like a nature walk or something. He's like, "Don't need these. Just more nature and nature." And I'm like, "Hey, come on."
You bought those though.
Yeah, like a couple minutes ago. Like what?
Yeah, what are you doing?
What are we doing?
Whereas like, it's just he's also not charming enough to pull
No.
off that sort of the actor. Like,
No.
whereas like Clown Dog, he's not charming, but that's the charm.
That is the charm.
Like
he's like an all shucksy.
Yeah, oh shucks. Like, hey, I'm cleaning shit, but one day next week it's the fries.
Yeah.
Like,
In his earnestness, like he like, it doesn't matter. You could put him in the little paper hat. And
Yeah.
You could put him in the dog car with the fucking.
But then they go to the toy store
Yeah.
and they're like bouncing
That's
around.
great.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's
like they're acting like kids in a toy store. Like I would do that with my
Right.
girl right now.
Well, that goes back to your innocence line. Like
Yeah.
the thing that you picked up on is that like that's why Brian works.
Yeah, he's a hook to innocence.
Yes, he's still connected while she's trying to be an adult.
Yeah, and he's hooking her to being an adult.
Right. Exactly. And like Brian being age appropriate, kind of shows that like this growing up is not all it's cracked up to.
No.
Like
It's not. She's like speeding up her. Like even at the end, she makes a speech like, "This is supposed to be my summer vacation.
Right.
Like this is not. I wasn't. I don't know. This is not what I wanted to do. Blah blah blah." That's that's someone's deathbed confession right there. This is not what I wanted to do with my life.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Showed you 2 months without mom, and you're already
changing the game. And now she has a whole new respect for her mom.
Right.
Even though she shouldn't.
Yeah,
but she like it's a completely different dynamic of the movie. Like the tone of that. Meanwhile, this is like, hey, we're having a good time.
Showing respect for your mother raising you when your mother's not raising you.
Yeah, exactly. You did a hell of a job. No, I didn't. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I'll see you later.
Crazy.
Man, I can't wait to get out of here.
Yeah, but like, yeah, I guess that makes Brian another aspect in the remake of this issue of getting older.
Yeah.
His Syracuse thing makes him ineligible to be that character.
Yeah.
That we get in 1991.
Whereas that loss of innocence doesn't exist in 2024
No.
at all in the remake, because he's everyone, like even the kids.
Yeah.
The kids are talking at college level.
Yes, everybody.
Like everything what's going on. Like
smart guys doing it. Fucking,
yeah, smart Slumdog is doing it. Fucking AEIOU is doing it.
Ocean's 8 over there.
Ocean's 8, yeah. Like she's everyone. It's like if you're gonna do that, it's almost like that's a big tone of the film. Like these kids, it makes it like there's a whole other aspect of Sue Ellen in the first one of like, I'm pissed off because I gotta go and you guys get to enjoy being like this.
Right.
Whereas in the other one, it's like, well, you guys aren't really kids anyway.
Right.
Like you're like doing taxes over here. Like,
it's a complete like tone shift, and I think you weigh those pros and cons. Like I will reiterate that I think for the most part the writing is actually pretty sharp, and I was surprised that
it was
how well they like adapted it.
Yeah,
and it didn't feel, except for like cheesy characters like Brian and the Rose in this film, like two kind of like weakened characters in this remake. Besides them, like I feel like when people are delivering their lines, they feel kind of like natural. It sounds
other
like,
than Nicole Richie.
Yeah, she's rough.
Yeah, she's rough. But at the end of the day, so you think that this movie should be remade?
No, no, not at all. Actually, I think that if you were going to do it, so my takeaway is ultimately this: that like the movie surprised me.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be complete garbage.
So did I.
But it's watchable.
So did I. I do think 1991 is far better.
Yeah, it's a better film.
It's a better film, and it's got like heavier themes.
Yeah.
Of like either class, loss of innocence. Just the acting in general is better. There's a lot of themes that it touches on, but it doesn't take itself overly seriously at the same time.
It's still a comedy.
So it's still a comedy, but it talks about those things, and Yeah, I recommend that much more than I
Oh
recommend
yeah, for sure.
2024.
Like
But also, like you said, it's really
yeah,
not bad.
yeah, if you want to watch it,
It's
like,
not bad. It's
fine.
It's fine. It's a fine movie. I don't know if I would.
I'm gonna stop it. Like I'm not gonna say good, but like it's not. It's also not bad.
No, it's definitely not.
Yeah.
It's not the worst movie I've seen this month.
Yeah,
Let me say that.
no, totally not.
Yeah.
That would be another movie I saw recently. Miley Cyrus and Demi Moore's LOL, which is a remake of a French film. This movie's so bad it doesn't make the cut for Retro versus Remake.
Oh, thank you.
But like,
I want to watch this.
There were times when we were talking about the film because like it's similar. There's like a mom-daughter dynamic that is kind of bleeding into my thoughts a little bit. But anyway, long story short, the 2024 remake, elements are lost in translation because what happens a lot of remakes where, oh, we just do the same things. It's the same movie, right?
Yeah.
It's like no.
There are beats.
No, and I think they handle some of the beats really well. I actually really liked the front end, like when we were talking about 18 minutes into the film.
Yeah, that's actually the way they do that. That the cold open of the movie is
kind of sick.
Yeah, they do like a Departed beginning of like all of a sudden you're 18 minutes in the movie and then you see the credits. You're like, holy shit, that was the beginning of the movie.
And like more than like anything else in the movie, like it's shot really well.
Yeah, it gets right to it.
You know,
it's like other than Nicole Richie and Brian, everyone else does a pretty good job, and they do for the most part do a decent job updating the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Like using the Miss Pat excuse of being at an anger management in Thailand, to save her job.
Right.
Of this single mother who's supporting this family well, might I add. Like she's supporting them well.
And like beats that like stuff like Ride Bros, like it's an Uber thing. That's kind of funny. Like the kids reading how not to strangle people that annoy you, which is clearly like the reading his mom's gonna do while she's in Thailand. Like it's just
and just the throwback to the dishes are done, man.
Yeah. It's a really it's a
competent remake. I will give it that.
It's fun at times, but like it does not.
It doesn't hold a candle.
It doesn't. No. But like I can't say bad things about it. It just isn't.
Yeah.
It's not quite.
Yeah, it's not quite.
But yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that still does mean that I can't say that this remake should exist. It shouldn't.
No, it shouldn't.
At all.
I don't think so.
You know, if you're gonna do something that you probably shouldn't, this isn't a bad way to do it.
That's correct.
You know,
I agree.
That's the
yeah. That's the takeaway. That being said, what do you think we should do for our next episode?
I've not thought about this.
Neither have I.
At all.
At all. Me neither. I did have a list if you wanted to.
I was really going to say Mean Girls.
We can do Mean Girls.
Let's do Mean Girls.
I'll do Mean Girls. All right.
Fuck it.
Let's go. Mean Girls is up next. So it's playing on Prime, I think, and then it's on something else too.
That's right.
Lindsay Lohan, 2004.
Sydney Sweeney.
I don't think so. I know Tina Fey's involved in both.
Okay.
With that being said, we're gonna do Mean Girls. So watch, like, subscribe. Retro vs. Remake on Instagram, on YouTube, on Spotify, iTunes, anything, anywhere you want to find
Weirdly, not on BET Plus.
Not on BET Plus. Are we on Tubi? Because no, we're not.
Not yet. We're working on it.
We're working on it. We're calling. Give me BT.
Get BT on the line.
Right on top of that, Rose. I'm Dan Farley. You can find me at DanFarley18 on Instagram. You can find me at JerseyDan18 on X. And then Reggie.
Yep, I'm Reggie Parker. You can find me at RP Comedy on X and Instagram. Check out Retro vs. Remake on Instagram. Yeah.
That's it.
Thanks for listening.
We'll see you next time for Mean Girls. And the dishes are done, man.
Done, man. All right.